Maybe let's start with Taiwan. How did Taiwan come onto your radar?
A friend's sister who had just come back from here who was teaching. And she'd said, it's a fantastic island. There's some skateboard parks, there's surfing. I was just getting into surfing. I came to write my own film, which I'd already started writing, but just to get out of Canada. All my friends were going to university and I wasn't going to university yet. So I just came to write, and that's how I wound up here.
So dope.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the NG 英文 Show. My name is John Drummond, or Yang Haoen.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎回到 NG 英文，我是 Stephanie。今天的来宾是一位动态摄影师，那他同时也是一间制作工作室叫 Stone Soup 的合伙人之一。那他们拍摄的类型非常多元，等等就让来宾自己介绍吧。接下来就让我们来欢迎 Luke。
Today I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Luke Cameron. Luke is an incredible videographer here in Taiwan and a partner at a production house called Stone Soup. He is making feature-length films. He's doing sports videography. Dude, you're making all kinds of dope documentary. What don't you do, my friend? We're going to dive into it. But please welcome Luke.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Nice introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You know, I was just reminiscing how we met. We met at a surf contest in Taidong with Garrett. Is that right?
Yeah, in the parking lot.
In the parking lot. I think I was like, hey, dude, would you want to come on my show?
Yeah, I think I was either just filming or getting out of the water from a surf, running to go film.
That's right. I think you guys were you working with Red Bull at the time?
Yeah.
And you were filming a really incredible up-and-coming surfer who won that contest, the Taiwan Open.
Yeah, he's an Australian surfer for Red Bull, and he came just for fun. And fun turned into winning the event, and we got the whole thing from start to finish. It's on Red Bull. You can go check it out. It's incredible. But that was with Garrett's company, Bay Productions. And that was a super fun shoot.
Incredible. So, Mr. Luke, I was hoping we could start kind of with a little bit of a high level, though.
So, I'm a Canadian-born cinematographer, director, producer. I came to Taiwan when I was 20 years old. So, I've been here for longer now than I ever lived in Canada. And I've been running Stone Soup since 2013. And I guess I'm an entrepreneur at heart who just wants to just do fun things in life, make movies and meet interesting people like yourselves. And here we are. I'm 40 in a month. And yeah, and I think I'm at a really interesting place in my life.
Beautiful summary there. You started out with cinematography in Canada, though. Is that correct?
That's right. So I started out shooting skateboard and snowboard videos when I was 12. I did.
Speaking of which, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, it's been hard to get you here in the studio because you're like, yeah, dude, I'm going to go snowboard in Japan. Like, I'll catch you later.
Yeah. Still love snowboarding. So I did that. And then I started working on feature films. The high school that I went to in Canada, they shut down the hockey rink, which was fine with me because I don't play hockey. And they'd built a whole old West, like a saloon and this whole street.
Wow, like a whole set.
Yeah. And it was Shanghai Noon.
No way.
So I was skipping classes to go and like watch and do stuff. And I realized later it was one of the gaffers who said, do you want to help out? And I was like, damn, I don't want to help out. And so I was running cables and getting them cords and whatever. And that went on for 6 weeks. And then after that, I graduated and went and worked on another one. And then another one, I was working on all these Hollywood features, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely what I want to be doing. I mean, I like filming snowboard videos, but I was like, this is way more interesting.
Wow. Yeah, so you got that taste of a feature-length film right there. And what would you say kind of clicked in that process? When you were doing skate videos, you really are telling a story, probably following these skaters around different spots, but what would you say was the difference comparison with a feature-length film?
I think just the process. There was a lot more thought behind it and planning and the amount of people involved. Whereas when you're doing a skateboard or a snowboard video, it's just you. You're like the director, the producer, the cinematographer, the editor. You're everything. Yeah. And it was really neat to just have one job. And once I started in on commercials as well, you just have the one job. And I really liked that. Even though sometimes you still have two jobs. And features are the same thing. You're focused on one thing. And to this day, when my company's doing commercials, maybe there's only 6 of us, but everyone has one specific job. And if someone ever comes up to me, and I just got asked to do a shoot the other day, they're like, can't you do lighting, sound, and shoot? And I was like, no, I don't even want it. Like, just go ask someone else. I'm not doing that because something's going to fail. I mean, it's like asking someone in an office, oh, so you're gonna write the copy, and you're gonna also get everyone coffee today, and you're gonna mop the floors, and you're gonna clean, and also, can you do all the advertising? Like, you're not supposed to do all of that. You need to just do one job.
Yeah, man. I mean, so beautifully said, and we're seeing this in office spaces right now. Is like one person does not need to wear so many hats, but they almost pressure you sometimes. They're like, hey, you need to do marketing today. You're doing sales today. But also you're going to do HR, and can you recruit some people? And it's like, bro, first of all, you don't pay me enough for that. And second of all, we need to have a team to do those things. So I love that, you understood the process and you really care about the craft so much of, hey, let me actually just focus on this one thing so intently, I'm going to give you gold.
Yeah, I think it's good to understand all of the hats that everyone wears. And I think that can be a problem if you only do one thing. And if you're that person who doesn't understand what the other 6 people in the office do, that's also not great. Or on the film set, like if the producer doesn't understand what it is that the focus puller is doing, that's not a good thing. Then they don't understand why that person's important. So I think it is good as you start out in any industry to understand everyone's role, be it the office place or on a film set or wherever. But yeah, to then be able to then just find your path and hone in on that specific skill set makes you a better person for whatever role that is in the job you want to work in.
Yeah, well said, my man.
来宾跟 John 是在台东的冲浪比赛认识的。当时来宾正在拍摄一位代表 Red Bull 的选手，对方本来是来玩的，没想到居然夺得冠军。而 John 看到他在拍摄的时候，就跑过去询问愿不愿意来参加我们的节目了。那来宾说，他是一位来自加拿大的动态摄影师、导演跟制作人。然后在19、20岁左右的时候来台湾的，现在他在台湾居住的时间已经超过他在加拿大的时间了。他在2013年的时候创立了 Stone Soup， 那他认为他骨子里 at heart 就是一位创业家，因为他喜欢做有趣的事情，制作电影跟认识一些有趣的人。那在1个月后就要满40岁了。来宾12岁的时候在加拿大主要是拍滑板 skateboard 跟滑雪板 snowboard。那后来他到高中的时候，他开始拍一些剧情长片feature film， 因为他的高中把曲棍球场 hockey ring 拆了，并且盖了一个西部的场景 set。 那来宾就开始每天去看，然后有一天他就被灯光部的主管邀请去帮忙。那来宾就花了6周帮忙他们收线跟拿东西。那他毕业之后也到了另一个剧组，那他们主要是在做剧情长片，也因此来宾更加确定自己想要做这一块。那他觉得拍滑板类型跟拍剧情长片的差别在于，滑板类型的影片也就是导演、制作人、摄影师要全包，那剧情长片除了要比较多的事前准备，也会比较需要思考，而且可以比较专注的做一件事情就好。那来宾说，现在的公司就算是接广告，他们虽然只有6个人，但是每个人都只负责特定的一个工作。如果有人要找他们说可不可以同时做灯光 lighting、 声音 sound 跟拍摄，那他一定会拒绝，因为他认为一定会有一项失败。我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
And so thinking then a little bit about, the future. Stone Soup is now doing feature lengths, you're doing commercials, you're doing all sorts of stuff, but is there anything specifically that you really want to be focusing on 2023, 2024, etc.?
Yeah, so we've been doing a ton of commercials and corporates for the last 4 or 5 years. We did our first feature in 2014. And we really wanted to get back into that. And luckily enough, it fell in our lap. I had written an article about why you should film in Taiwan. And a producer from Nashville who works with Sony reached out. That was during COVID. And we found a way to bring in him and his team into the country and film for 23 days last year, kind of in the middle of COVID, and the borders weren't open. It took us 9 months. It took me and my key producer 9 months to get them into the country, and it worked. We got them in.
Wow.
And one thing we really wanted to do was, and we've been talking with the Taipei Film Commission before about this, is equality and bringing more, just an equal amount of males to females on set. And it just so happened that this Sony film was comprised mainly of women. And so there was one male producer the female, there was a director was female, and her whole team was female. And so I said, listen, we're going to line up hopefully 50% males, 50% females to work with you guys. It turned to be 70-30. So we were dominated by heads of department. Everyone, there were so many amazing women working on this film. And that's something I want to take into as we move forwards into 2023, 2024. We've got 2 features I think we're working on this year with outside companies. And those are going to be really exciting. I can't say much about those, but those are happening in the next few months. And we've got 2 of our own in the pipeline that we're going to try to be doing here. And just giving more access to Taiwanese, up-and-coming Taiwanese talent and artists, but also people who want to run their own teams, be it directors, be it hair and makeup, be it producers, but putting, people into these roles where maybe they don't have that access on other larger productions. So just giving equality to anyone who wants it.
I love it, man. Yeah, and I've worked on a lot of entertainment, different Netflix shows and commercials here, and yeah, it was always like 99% male, and hair and makeup maybe was a few females. And so I love that you guys are, you're pushing that to have, the co-directors being female, that's the way to the future. And I love it because you're really making the whole film scene so much more inclusive. So I love that you're doing that.
Yeah, it's something that we'd noticed was happening in North America a lot, and also, well, I guess the West, and it wasn't happening here. And I'd already been working with a lot of females here, and I mean, it doesn't matter, the color of your skin or your sex or how you identify. But if you love what you do, then just, reach out and just come on board and start working with people. And that's one thing I've noticed is just amazing. Just work with different people, different backgrounds, and you're going to get the best product possible because those people love what they do.
Well said, man. I love that. And I wish you nothing but continued success. I'm so happy to hear you and the team have, weathered the COVID storm and thrived, hopefully, through all that because...
What a storm.
What a storm. What a storm, no doubt.
过去的4到5年，他们的工作室主要是在接公司行号的影片为主。那么在2014年的时候，第一次接到剧情长片，所以他们其实非常想要再次接到。那很幸运的是，天降了一个案子，因为来宾写了一篇要在台湾拍片的原因，而刚好有一位跟索尼合作的美国人联系上了他。那当时是疫情的时候，所以还没有开放旅客进来台湾，但他们还是想办法让他们的团队来台湾拍摄了23天。他们花了9个月才让他们进来台湾的。那另外来宾也一直想要强调男女平等，所以他希望剧组中的男女人数是一样的。而刚好这次索尼的团队大部分的人其实都是女性居多。他们本来预计人数是男女各占一半，但最后女性工作人员占了 70%。因此他们今年要跟外部的公司一起合作拍2部剧情长片。虽然目前不能透露太多，但接下来几个月会开始拍摄。来宾想要借此机会让更多的台湾人，尤其女性可以参与这样的作品，无论是做化妆师或是导演、制作人等等的。那因为其实在西方已经是常态，那因为在台湾的产业还是男性居多，所以他认为无论是任何性别、种族或是如何定义自己都没关系，只要他们是有热忱的话，就应该去接触跟尝试。来宾也认为要多跟不同的人合作，因为当他们热爱他们的工作时，你会发现有不一样的火花哦。我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
Well, do you mind if we kind of switch gears a little bit to kind of the story of you in Taiwan and maybe a little bit of language and how language is playing now a role on set with your team and all that? And so maybe let's start with Taiwan. How did Taiwan come onto your radar?
So Taiwan came on my radar from a friend's sister who had just come back from here who was teaching. And I think it was 18 or 19. I'm going to say 18. And then I came when I was 19, maybe just turned 20. But it was from a friend's sister, and she'd said, it's a fantastic island. There's some skateboard parks. There's surfing. I was just getting into surfing. And I came to write my own film, which I'd already started writing, but just to get out of Canada. All my friends were going to university, and I wasn't going to university yet. And so I just came to write, and that's how I wound up here.
So dope. So you came to Taiwan to kind of have some peace of mind, skate a little bit, surf, and write. Was that one of your first scripts that you were trying to write on your own?
I think that was my second script, but a story that I really wanted to tell. And while I got here, I realized I don't have a lot of money. And it seems like every foreign person is teaching English to make money. And so I wound up teaching English, but saving every dollar I made, knowing that this is what's going to fund this film. So I saved for a year. I think it was a year and a half. And then I took all of that money and I sent it back to Canada. Bank transfer. I think some of it was bank transfer, some of it was just cash. And went back to Canada, and it was all on film. There was no digital cameras. So bought, I think, 10,000 feet of film. It was all in 16 millimeter film. And yeah, I shot a feature in 10 days. Woo! Yeah. And then cut it, and then moved to Los Angeles and had every door closed on me that you can have closed on you. And I was like, Taiwan was pretty awesome. So I thought I'm going to go back to Taiwan and see what I can do there. Maybe there's some film people. I actually came back. Film was kind of in the back of my head because I had all these doors closed. I loved it, but I met another guy, and he wanted to do a restaurant. And so we ended up doing a pizza by the slice restaurant in Kaohsiung. And I walked away after 9 months. I was like, I don't want to be in the restaurant industry. I have to be there 24 hours a day, basically. And then it was right after that I was like, I want to be doing videos. I met a really great guy named Scott Weatherall, who's one of the partners at Stone Soup. And we started shooting a lot of little videos. He was doing a lot of kind of like SNL comedy sketch kind of stuff. And I realized that's definitely what I wanted to do. I had a huge problem, though. I didn't have a degree. I had no way to stay in the country legally, and I didn't want to do it by just teaching legally or whatever. So I ended up leaving and went to film school in Australia when I was 27 years old. So I was one of the adult students.
That's wow, man. I love that. Really knowing that you care so deeply about this, that you would, kind of, we think about progressing through our lives and, we want it to be this upward trajectory always, but you were like, hey, no, if I go back to school, I think I could then launch pad from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
beautiful.
Yeah. So I would go there for 4 months. It was like 4 month semesters. 4 months, come back for 3 months. 4 months, 3 months. So I was coming and going as we were starting Stone Soup, and I was going to film school, and it was great because I met a lot of people in the film industry there who I'm still in touch with and I still work with. And that also helped blossom relationships to be shooting abroad, and that's fantastic.
So cool, man. I love that. And I love that. Just, that purpose driven, guys, saving your money to do something you love and having that focus, that drive, man. Respect.
来宾说他会注意到台湾是因为他朋友的妹妹曾经来台湾教过英文。他说台湾是一个非常美丽的岛屿，因为这里有很多滑板场，也能冲浪，而当时来宾刚好开始接触这一些，所以为了继续写剧本，他决定跑来台湾了。因为他看到其实蛮多外国人都在教英文，所以也跟着去教英文。但他赚到的钱都会存起来，因为他知道这些钱会资助 fund 他拍摄这个剧本。那他存了大约1年至1年半左右，然后把所有的钱汇回加拿大。结果他被所有能想到的人拒绝。所以他就觉得好像台湾其实蛮棒的，他就开始在想，或许可以来台湾看看能做些什么，或许可以遇到一些电影人。那其实他对于拍摄已经有点抛之脑后 back of my head。虽然他热爱这件事情，但他被拒绝了太多次，而刚好他也遇到了一个想要开餐厅的人，他们就决定在高雄开了一间披萨店。但他9个月后就离开了，因为他基本上每一天都要花24小时在这个餐厅上。那他当时也觉得他还是想要拍片，所以就刚好遇到了他现在的合伙人 Scott， 那他们就开始了创业。但他又有一个问题，就是他没有学历，而且也没有办法待在台湾，所以他在27岁的那一年决定去澳洲念电影学院。那好处是他在学校遇到了非常多业界人士，有些到现在还会一起合作，那也因此为他展开 blossom 了很多国外的拍摄的机会。我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
How has language acquisition then played into your role now as you're an entrepreneur, you're doing all this cinematography, but you're probably having to pitch ideas. I mean, are you using Mandarin when you're pitching ideas here in Taiwan all the time?
Yeah, so I guess it's a bit of both. At the very start, within 2 or 3 years of being here, I didn't want to be that foreigner who couldn't count to 10. So yeah, I started going to TLI.
Nice.
I don't know if it's still around.
Yeah, it is. Taipei Language Institute, right?
Yeah, I give a huge amount of...
I think in Guting. Does that sound right?
That sounds right, yeah. So yeah, I went there and I started going to classes, but with a bunch of people. but most of them were there for visas,
Right.
and they didn't want to learn. And I was like, but I want to learn. And so my teacher said, oh, you can just go one-on-one. And it was like 100 NT more. So I was going one-on-one, and it was going way faster. And she convinced me to not read and write. Well, A, because I wasn't really doing my homework, and I was terrible at it. But really the speaking part was what was important, because that's what I was using anyways. And to this day, that's very important. Obviously, I can pick out little characters here and there, but I can't, Actually, when I got married, I had to write my name in Chinese. They won't let your spouse write it for you. And I'm like, oh, can I just practice a bit? And the lady at the registry, she just folded her arms and she's like, oh, but I'm going to watch you practice. And so my wife's like, I can't help you here. And so our marriage certificate looks like a 5-year-old scribbled on it. It's horrible. So yeah, language is huge. My Chinese it's probably at like a 60 or 70% level of fluency. If you wanted to have a conversation about nuclear physics or certain parts of government,
my favorite topics,
I'd fall apart. But I talk to my my film crews in a mix of English and Mandarin. There's a few people I work with who don't speak any English, and I have no problem just speaking to them in Mandarin. A lot of the crews like to speak English to me. Maybe it's a little bit of practice for them as well. And then also when we have American teams coming in, or English teams, or Australian, Canadian, and then they feel comfortable as well speaking with that director or that producer in their second language.
Yeah.
And also I feel that's a huge benefit for Stone Soup. I have an American or Canadian, whatever, a Western person reach out to us. We can have a Zoom meeting or a WhatsApp call in English.
Yeah.
And then they know that, I can be going and speaking to my team in Mandarin, and I'm comfortable doing that. And then when they get here and they see it, they're like, oh, wow, like this is a very bilingual team. And it puts them at ease. It puts me at ease. I do see people here all the time who can't speak any Mandarin, and it's just, don't you want to learn?
Yeah, it's so cool, man. And I love how useful it's become now, and it's such a superpower for you to be able to, like you said, connect teams from all over the world and bring them here, and act as the bridge really to the cinematography world that is thriving all over the place. And so, do you remember any maybe tips, practical advice that did help you in that kind of early stage, or maybe what helps you now when you're taking calls?
Actually, one of the ways I found was really good for my Mandarin at the start was going and getting haircuts. But you'd have to go to different places, and you'd go to the 100 NT places because you're going for one or two a week. Yeah. But they'd always ask you the same questions. Where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah.
And it was just, you got all these questions for free. Or asking, or going down, like if you had a Guan Li in your building, speaking with a Guan Li.
Oh, shout out to the security guys.
Yeah, so,
I love those guys.
So all these little things were just simple ways to go and practice your Mandarin. And also just even things like ordering food. Like, just don't go to Subway. Don't go to Burger King. I said Subway because I see a Subway bag over there.
Whoa.
Or if you know what, if you do go to Subway, order
I order my
in Mandarin.
sandwich. Yeah.
Order in Mandarin. But I see a lot of people not doing that, or they'll just go to places where they don't need to use Mandarin. And I feel like if on the flip side as well, if you are a Mandarin speaker, like looking to learn English, just go and chat with that foreign person. Make it part of your day-to-day. And now that it's actually probably easier now than it has been during COVID, because tourists are here again. I don't know if you've noticed.
Oh, yeah. I live in Ximending, so yeah, flooded again with tourists.
And so you'll notice a few of them like lost.
Yeah.
Go and ask them if they need help.
Yeah.
And like, boom, you've got a free language lesson.
Yeah, man, that's great. Asking if they need help is such a beautiful reminder that the world is a good place.
Yes.
Yeah, man, dope.
来宾刚来台湾的时候，为了不想要成为别人口中那个不会数到10的外国人，所以他就报名了课程去 TLI 的学院。他的老师甚至鼓励他不要把重心放在读跟写上面，而是放在口说。好笑的是，他结婚的时候，因为规定的关系，他必须亲自写上他的中文名字。但因为他真的不熟悉，他还问柜台说可不可以让他练习一下。结果对方说可以，但还是得盯着他亲自签完结婚证书。所以他笑说他们的结婚证书看起来像是5岁小孩的涂鸦 scribble。那来宾说自己中文的流畅程度 fluency 大约在60-70%，但如果要跟他聊一些原子核物理学 nuclear physics 或者是政府相关的议题，他可能会承受不住。那他跟剧组人员沟通都是中英掺杂， 但如果遇到完全不会英文的工作人员，他也是可以用中文跟他们沟通的。那其他人大部分的时间会用英文居多，可能对他们来说也是一种练习。那来宾分享他觉得学习中文很有帮助的方式就是去剪头发，而且要找不同家，特别是那一种100元剪发，因为毕竟你一周会去个几次。那这是因为他们都会问同样的问题，比如说你是哪里人，做什么的。他也觉得跟管理员 security guard 聊天，或者是去点餐也是一个不错的方式。那要学习英文的话也是一样的道理，因为现在有越来越多的外国人，其实你也可以找他们聊天，让这个成为你的日常。那我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
A question I'd love to end the show with is if you could go back, though, and talk to a young little hood rat, Luke Cameron, would there be any advice you give yourself about cinematography, working, Taiwan, life, anything?
It's tough. Part of me says I wouldn't want to change anything because I'm so happy with where I've gotten to today, even though it's taken quite a while. But I think everyone's journey takes quite a while. Nothing happens overnight. Everything happens through hard work, persistence, and being focused on where you want to end up. And I think if I hadn't had some of the journeys that I did, like the restaurant that kind of failed, if you just had early success, like immediate success, maybe I would have fallen out of love with it. And actually, like my first feature kind of failing was probably a good thing. You know, we're not all the next Quentin Tarantino or Kevin Smith, even though we'd all love to be. But going and doing that, loving the process, and then being able to fall in love with it again and go, oh, that's right, I really did like that, I want to do that. I guess the advice I would give is just stay the course and have fun along the way. You got to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, man.
But have a goal in mind and try to reach that goal and make a goal for the next 5 years and get to that place, no matter how you want to get there. But, you know, go snowboarding, go for a surf, or whatever you like doing. Make sure you fit that in along the way, because that's kind of why we work as hard as we work, right?
There we go. I love it. You know, falling in love with the process has been kind of the anthem for 2022 for me personally.
来宾说，如果要给年轻自己一个建议，其实非常困难，因为有一部分的他认为他不会改变任何一件事情，因为虽然花了一点时间，但也成就了现在的他，而他很喜欢现状。那来宾认为大家的路程都需要一点时间，但同时也需要努力、毅力 persistence 跟专注在你想要的结果。像他开设餐厅，第一次制作的影片被拒绝，让他更加确定自己喜欢拍片，而他认为如果他太早成功，或许还会失去热忱。所以虽然大家都希望可以成为天才的导演制作人，但有时候就是需要经历那个过程才会想要继续。那来宾给大家的建议就是要坚持到底 stay the course， 然后好好的玩吧。那他觉得要有一个目标，然后达到之后再去想一个5年后的目标。那中间也别忘记去做你自己喜欢做的事情，像来宾就是喜欢滑雪跟冲浪，因为这才是我们工作的目的。那我们就谢谢今天的来宾 Luke。
Well, where can maybe people watch any of your work? Where could they find you online? How can they connect with you?
So people can head over to stonesuitproduction.com. Same on Instagram and Facebook, Stone Suit Production. My personal detail, I'm Luke Cameron on Instagram and also on Facebook, so hit me up. But yeah, I'd love to make more acquaintances, people who like doing film and cinematography or photography in Taiwan. There's a ton of us out there, and the more people there are doing this, the broader networks get connected from abroad here, and there's a ton of work for everyone, so let's all just work at it together.
Luke Cameron, the more handsome of the Cameron brothers.
I don't know about that. I got a twin. Fraternal though, but he's got brown hair. Yeah, he's an F-18 fighter pilot.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow. So I got a cooler job, maybe? I don't know.
Do a cool documentary on him, maybe. That's pretty dope. Awesome, man. Well, Stone Suit Production, guys. Check it out. All their work, incredible. Check out Luke wherever you can find him. Thank you, my man, for joining us on the NG English Show.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next time.
See you guys.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the NG English Show. We appreciate your patience, your dedication to learning, and your curiosity. Keep it alive inside. Woo! All right, we'll talk to you next time. Peace! All right, well, that is our NG English Show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Spotify. You can search NG Ingwen, or you can search on IG, NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7, and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye bye.